Whenever you're ready.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the MulletCast, the podcast where business and pleasure collide. My name is Evan Balmer.
What's going on? It's Mike Mercier.
Hey, Mike. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Fantastic. Today we are joined by Paige Bouzaglou. Paige is a travel consultant with the Wandering Gosling. Check out her company online at wanderinggosling.com, on Instagram at wandering_gosling.
Hey, everyone.
What's up?
Paige?
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
That's cool. We're fantastic today. So as part of like preparing for podcasts and stuff, we asked people to send in a bio, and I know you were like hesitant to put it together a little bit, like you didn't know what to talk about.
Yeah.
But the first things we noticed were about your childhood. You grew up in Brooklyn, and then you refer to yourself. Well, I'll let Mike ask that because he was curious too. So tell us about growing up in Brooklyn.
Grew up in Brooklyn my whole life, in the Gravesend area. What's up, BK? I mean, Brooklyn is so diverse. It's the most diverse place ever, but I grew up in the Jewish community.
Right.
So, like, I think you guys call them the Bennies. They come here in the summer.
It's everyone from up north, though.
Okay. Grew up in the Jewish community, so it was kind of in a bubble.
Right.
And then I went, my last year of high school, I went to public school, so I went to Jewish schools my whole life.
Right.
So I was kind of not, in a diverse place, but very, in a bubble. And I went to public school my last year of high school, and it was like culture shock for me. And it was really when I started traveling, and when my boyfriend started traveling, that I, opened my eyes and grew up and
So did your upbringing in the bubble kind of lead you to where you are now? Like you, after realizing like, whoa, this is actually what things are, let me see more?
It kind of led me further away from it. It was just very, like, I always felt like I didn't connect with them. Like, it was just not for me. And then when I met my boyfriend, and he wasn't really involved in the community.
Right.
I was like natural. It was like, oh, okay. And we started traveling, and I just saw, it just really opened my eyes to just like the real world.
Right.
And even just like being in the city and away from it, it was just I just felt normal.
So
like it's a lot of pressure, all about the image and all that stuff. So, I don't like that.
Right.
So.
Is it like an Orthodox community, or what would it
like
be
moderately,
considered?
like not like skirts and wigs and all that stuff.
Right.
I mean, some people do, but my family was more moderate. Like some people won't even turn the lights on or TV on a Friday night or Saturday. It's like the Holy Sabbath.
Yep.
I wasn't like that personally. But it was moderately.
Yeah, your bullet points were good. I enjoyed reading them, but you put Jew-ish.
Jew-ish. Now I say that if
So-
my parents ever heard that, they'd be like, oh my God. But
sorry, Mom.
yeah. So I'm Jew-ish now. I'm not really religious at all, or
So it is interesting, like you're in Brooklyn, and how you can still be isolated kind of in a community, right?
It's great.
Because you can quickly bounce out like to the city or just different parts of Brooklyn.
It's like, it's so crazy. Like now I think about it, it's like, now I walk on the streets in Brooklyn and I'm like, oh, there's like an Uzbek restaurant, a Georgian restaurant, just like all cool stuff that I never even like thought about before.
Right.
And it's just, everyone goes to the same coffee shop or, goes to the same doctors or same clothing stores. It's just very, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You're in such a big place, diverse place, and you're just, taught to just, be in this bubble and not stray.
Stay in line a little bit.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny because I told you I lived in like Sheepshead Bay area for a while, and so like it's not that's like basically similar area. Yeah. So it is interesting. My funniest memory from back then is like just random bar watching a Yankees game when they were in the playoffs, and they had like a live like keyboard player basically playing the organ like you were in the stadium.
That's awesome.
So like
Oh my God.
it's like chock full of knuckleheads, just like with an organ playing. It was like the most random place. It was hilarious.
Sounds
Sounds
fun,
fun.
though. Yeah, sounds
it was
fun.
actually funny. So that was cool. So how did you actually get out to go to public school for your senior year? How did you escape?
Funny story. Well, at the time, it was devastating. It was like, oh my God, I'm going to like.
For you
for
or
me,
for it was
the way it happened. So I was in the school, Jewish school, and like they're not. I'm going on a tangent, but like it's not about education. It's very like it's like get married. You know, the goal is like they don't push you to. You know, it's like get married, find a husband, and have kids. Like that's what like girls at 18, 19 are thinking. That's their. It's not like, oh, let me, maybe now they, I've been out of it for a few years now, but so I was in my junior year of high school towards the end, and I was walking with my friend, and the school was like an atrium, so everything's open. Like there's a lobby, and all 4 floors see you. And apparently my bra strap was showing.
Right.
So the head rabbi of the school was like, he like screamed my name across the whole he's like, Bouzaglou. I'm like, yeah, okay. He's like, get out. I'm like, why? Like, I was just walking.
Right.
And he's like, why? Because your bra strap is showing. That's why. And he, in front of the whole school, was mortified. And he goes, you look like you're from the streets. Who raised you? I have a big mouth.
Right.
But I was like floored. I was silent. I was like, oh my God, okay. And then it's like 9 a.m. I'm like, I have to call my mom. Like, I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, I can't just come home.
Right.
So I had to call her, and she like flipped out. She called my father. My father turned around. He was just about to like get on the highway to be in the city.
Right.
They came, and and within 5 minutes of them being in the office, you just heard like yelling, and Mom's like, get your shit, we're taking you out of this school, whatever.
Wow.
In retrospect, like, I get what she was doing and whatever,
Right.
But to me, it was like, you just pulled me out of school right before my senior year. So it was all just like, and then that's how I went to public school.
Wow. So did the head guy insult your parents? Is that?
Well, yeah, he's assaulted by the comment, yeah, so he did.
And I guess
and
got
they
worse.
got pissed, or it got. I couldn't hear because we were, all my friends were like, my mother's like very big personality, so like everyone knew, oh, Paul is coming. Okay, this is gonna be a shot,
Crazy,
so it was like
man.
mortifying, but yeah. And at the time, it was very upsetting, but now I'm like, what were you thinking?
Yeah. So I mean, the way you were talking about it, I thought maybe it was something you wanted.
No, I mean, no.
I thought you were gonna get. I thought it was gonna lead to her getting kicked out, but you didn't get kicked. You got pulled out.
Yeah, kind of got pulled out.
Yeah.
Did you have any brothers or sisters in the school?
No, not yet. They have 2 younger brothers, but they weren't old enough yet. Yeah. Right. So, and I have an older brother and an older sister from my father's first marriage, and their mother isn't Jewish, so they're like normal. So I kind of always, that's where like I kind of got that from, or felt like the normalness, or like felt like I wasn't like all the rest of my friends, or thought like them, because I had my older brother and older sister that were not involved at all.
Right.
So that's kind of I think where I get a lot of who I am.
Right.
So day one, public school, senior year, what was that like?
Oh my God. It was culture shock for me. It was just like, hey, okay. I don't know. It was really scary. It was now I'm like, oh, you idiot, what are you saying? But to me, it was just, and the school was like right around the corner from me, so it was pretty convenient and stuff. But yeah, I kind of just went through the motions after that. I was just upset and over it, and like all my friends were doing senior year stuff, and like, so I just went through the motions kind of, and like I wasn't motivated to go to college. My mom, this is the thing, my mom tells me, oh, why do you want to go to, what's college going to do for you? That's what she says to me. So, like, but, everyone has different paths, so, I mean, I'm happy where I am now, so it worked out, but yeah, so that was kind of the mindset. And then after high school, I was working at a clothing store in Brooklyn, and then I got a job in the city as like a receptionist or whatever. And I was doing that for a few years, and then I met my boyfriend.
So when you were going to that high school, did you meet like kids that were right around your neighborhood, like suddenly?
I spoke with like a few people in my class. I was like very to myself, but
right.
But I knew someone from like a camp I went to, so like I had some so I had some school
right.
peeps that I spoke to, but I didn't hang out with anyone after school or anything like that. It was just to myself, get in, get out,
Right. Head down. I mean, for any kid, like, probably changing schools at that age is, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
But, like, if you had the added, if you felt like you're in sort of an insulated community and then, like, leaving that, it's probably 10 times as hard.
Yeah. It was tough at the time.
So then after a couple of side jobs, you traveled for 2 years, huh?
Yeah, just
That's
about.
awesome.
Where'd you and your boyfriend meet?
Mutual friends. He's also Jewish.
Is it Jewish or Jew-ish?
He's like Jew-ish.
Okay.
He's more. Yeah. So
Heavy
we
on
had.
the ish.
Yeah. So we have mutual friends, and that's kind of just start hanging out, and rest is history.
So what was he doing?
He was trading for himself, so he quit his job at like 25. A few years before I met him, and he was working in the finance world, and he just started trading for himself, and that's kind of
So whose idea was it to hit the road?
him.
Yeah.
He was So we started out with little trips here and there, just like random places, or we'd go to like a festival or a concert somewhere. So that's kind of how we started.
Right. What festivals did you hit?
Like EDM ones.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, and then it branched out. Then it's like, all right, let's go to Europe. Our friends are going. We went to Croatia, and then we made like a whole thing out of it. And then that's kind of how it blossomed. It's like, this is so fun. We're seeing everything. It was amazing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, imagine the face of the higher up at your private school at an EDM concert, like Coachella. You just like girls running out with pasties on. Like, what is going on?
How's my brush up
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, now it's Dayglow.
Yeah,
Took it up
yeah.
a notch.
So what after traveling, what brought you to Red Bank? Or was Red Bank the first Jersey move, or?
Well, as we were living in the city, and then lease was up, and we were traveling. So my boyfriend, he has the house he grew up in. Just him and his sister have it, and in Oakhurst. So that was kind of our home base, when in between random travel spats, and then came back, and we lived there for maybe like 6 months, and they're like, it's a beautiful house, but it's in a cul-de-sac. It's like boring. I'm a city girl. I'm Brooklyn. I need life.
Well, you don't like walking over to Joe Palea Park, you know?
Not really. It's nice, but so.
There's a Rook down the road there, Come
Yes.
on, there's like a coffee shop and
Donut
stuff.
shop over there.
Yeah, totally, man.
And at the time,
7-Eleven.
my boyfriend's car was a
CVS.
stick shift, so I couldn't. I couldn't drive. I'd have to walk to
Right.
the Rook 20 minutes, on the weird roads, or
Weird roads. 35.
That's right. Deal Road.
So then, yeah, we're like, all right, I think it's time to move. So we were just driving around one day, BSing, and we're like, oh, this is a really cute town, and I'm like, let's start looking, and it just kind of happened.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. So is that when you started your business then?
Yeah, so once we got back from our travels, my boyfriend started his business, and then I was, I didn't really know what to do. I was, I just didn't know. I was like, what am I doing? I don't, I didn't really have the best education, or I didn't care about it. Didn't go to college. What am I going to do? What am I? And so I was like, all right, let's start this. And I love planning trips. Like, I really, I grew to love it, like, and really research and all that stuff, and it was just fun learning about places and doing all that stuff. So I was like, all right, let me do this. But I don't, I'm not really confident in myself. I never did any adulting type stuff or whatever, so it was like a scary thing. But so I did it. I started it, and at the beginning, obviously, you have to get customer, word of mouth, and so it was kind of, after a few months doing it, and I wasn't getting traction. It's just like discouraging. Like, what am I doing wrong? Do I just stop and get a job at a clothing store or something? Like, I was like going through like an identity crisis. Like, what am I doing? Like, I was just getting very discouraged from the lack of, I had like one customer.
So how'd you get your first customer? You remember?
It was word. It was like someone I knew.
Right.
It was like a friend of a friend or something like that. and then I was about to, I went for an interview at like a clothing store in Red Bank. My boyfriend's like, "What are you doing? Like, you're on the precipice. Like, you're so close. You have everything set up. You know, you're right there." Like, and I was like, "All right." You know, he had a whole, pep talk. Like, I was like, "All right, you know what? You're right. Like, this is something I'm doing." And then, sure enough, a few weeks later, maybe a month later, I started getting clients. It just kind of happened.
Right.
I commented on that article, so I was like, all right, let me get serious. Let me start, doing things, doing Facebook ads or whatever it was. And then I commented on that article I told you guys about. It was a random travel article. I commented, on the comment section, contact me. I'm a travel agent. And someone found me from there, and then another person found me, and then I got a review, and then more, and then it just kind of all fell into place, and I'm like, oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So how many years ago was that? How many, like, you started a couple?
2 years. So I started about, I think it's like 3 years ago now, and then 2.5 years ago, and then about a year and a half ago. Is when I really, I started getting this, and I was just like fully into it, and the fire was lit.
There you go.
I was just listening to like this Gary Vee podcast. It was the exact same thing where he's talking about how many businesses that would have been awesome, like never made it because like they quit just at that moment you talked about, right? It's like instead of seeing it through, they threw in the towel early, and so that's cool that it,
it worked out
quickly after that.
I stayed because. I mean, it's great, and I like learning about stuff. I like being able to plan trips for people, and it's an exciting thing for people. I love traveling. I'm sure everyone does. So these are things that people are gonna, remember forever. So it's exciting.
Well, it was really funny on the Nextdoor app for neighborhoods.
Right.
There was a woman in Colts Neck, and she said, "Hey, I need a travel agent." So I tagged, and I didn't tag. I gave her information.
Yeah.
Right. And then I sent her a text, and then she goes, "Oh, that's so funny. My mother, or my boyfriend's mother did the same exact thing." So it's an easy way to scale business now through social media. It's like, I tell everyone, if there's somebody asking for a mortgage, just tag me. Yeah. That is the best thing you could do, because you could grow without spending money on Facebook ads or anything.
Right. Totally.
Yeah. Like now, I don't know if it's good or bad. Maybe I always say, all right, I'm gonna start marketing or whatever. Pay for a marketing blast or whatever, but I haven't done it yet. It's really just been people just find me, like it's been so people from all over, not just from Jersey. I had someone from Hawaii find me, Illinois. I'm a hot commodity for some reason, right? So I've had like 7 people I've booked trips from Illinois, so it's cool.
That is cool.
Now there's a big trip that young Jewish children do, right? And it's to Israel. Is that something that you've ever you did it?
Oh my god, it was the funnest thing. It's a free trip to Israel. If you're Jewish or you have any Jew in your blood in any way, you don't have to be religious or anything like that. They send you to Israel for 2 weeks.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
It's free. All right, I was going to say there's probably an opportunity there.
No, it's free. It's the funnest thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How old were you when you did that?
19. It was I ended up staying. I ended up staying for like a month and a half after that. I had like an Israeli boyfriend, an army Israeli boyfriend, and yes, it was awesome.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've seen that. I've seen that on social media, and it looks like quite the adventure.
Totally.
Yeah, it's a pretty sick trip, actually.
That is cool. So you've said a lot of what you do, like I think the easy part for an agent is just like buying the ticket, right? Or finding like a good deal in a hotel, that kind of stuff. But you do a lot of itinerary planning.
Yeah.
So what's that all about?
So I basically handle everything. I try to make it a full service thing. So I'll book, like I'll route out the trip, which is like, gets annoying when it's, you have a lot of cities, everyone wants to see everything.
Right.
So I, route it out, book hotels, tours, everything that you would think needs to be booked, planned, I handle. And then like I'll lay out, most people don't like a strict time, like this time I want to go here. So it's kind of just a, whatever tours or whatever sprinkled in, and then I'll be like, okay, explore this, you're going to be in this area, check out this neighborhood, and then I'll provide all the information to that neighborhood, so you're walking around here, what's there to see.
Right.
And like I'll provide neighborhood summaries, so give you a little bit more fuller picture of each neighborhood. So you want to go out one night, okay, what neighborhood sounds cool to us, and I kind of just handle it all.
It's awesome.
So is it a lot of online research for places like you haven't been?
Oh my god, I sit for hours just reading and just putting together these neighborhood summaries. It's like I'm consuming a lot of information. I'm not putting every single thing, but just to get the get a pic. I could get a picture, so they could get a picture of it.
Yep.
It's a lot of time, but it's good.
That's cool. I think you should actually co-brand something with Ming because
I was thinking
this dude has the knack for, if you ever follow his Instagram, like he knows
been,
like the cool local places to go.
Yeah.
So I think like the little Ming branded trips could be cool.
I'm in.
Yes. Ming and Gosling.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I've always been curious how he pulls that off, but he's got a sense for it.
Cool places. Alabama. I want to go to Alabama.
Yeah. All right. So, what are some places on your to-do list?
Oh my god, I haven't even touched Asia yet.
Right.
So that I'm dying to go.
I could tell you some cool pachinko halls in Tokyo. Yeah, that's where I used to hang out and smoke all day and play pachinko. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Sounds like a different life, right?
It was totally. I mean, you win these like it's almost like they're like buckets, like these clear trays of small like silver balls.
Okay.
So like as you get points and stuff, they bring out these trays. So like this one day I was there, I had these buckets stacked up like up to my chair like this. And then there's like all flags attached to your machine. Like I had no clue what was going on,
oh my God.
but it was fantastic. Like all these elderly people were gathered around me, like cheering me on. It's like sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny, man.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Asia I'm dying to do. I want to do everything. I really want to see as much as I can.
Right.
Like there's so many cool places in this world.
Totally.
I want to hit it all.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Any favorite EDM artists?
I'm a dubstep gal, so I like weird stuff. If you hear what I
that's the Brooklyn in you right there, the dubstep.
I got dubstep and then rap.
Yeah.
Rap, hip hop.
Nice.
Love
So
those two.
the first one that comes to mind for dubstep is Skrillex.
Obviously.
And then he does the ASAP Rocky "Wild for the Night." Yeah. It's a good song.
I like a lot of those Skrillex remixes are killer, right?
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah.
So is Modest Yahoo from around your area at all?
I don't know, actually.
Is he from New York?
I thought so, but I could be totally wrong.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I know like the reggae.
Yeah.
Because I think he came out of a neighborhood in Brooklyn somewhere, but I could be totally wrong.
Yeah. He's probably from like Williams.
I think he was Hasidic though.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's possible.
No, he had some good. That King for a Crown.
Yeah.
The first album he came out with, that was so good. It's like sleep music, but you could also like relax to it on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool. So other than that, do you have any plans for traveling right now?
I don't.
Right.
I don't. My boyfriend's very focused on work, and I'm like busy and stuff. So.
What kind of business
planned.
did he end up starting?
He's still in the finance now. He's like data analytics for the finance world, creating like reports and indicators and stuff. So he's selling them now. Yeah.
Like freelance, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't work for anyone. For himself, he created all this stuff. He's like a little. And
you said he was a day trader prior to that, right?
Yeah. Well, he's not a day trader. He trades like futures.
Okay.
But he had the app on his phone. You could you could do it remotely. So that's why it was so easy for us to travel. But then when we came back, he's like, all right, we got to set up our life and futures. So, because trading, it's again, everything's a gamble. But so need to set up life infrastructure.
Yeah. Right. So is Monmouth County now? You feel comfortable calling it home? Like, do you know like the spots?
Weird roads and
all.
Yeah. I mean, it's been my home for 4 years now. So like honestly, like I'm just starting to get in the last few months. Starting to get comfortable, even since I'm been in Latip and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, when I moved here, I don't know, I was so weird and antisocial or just like scared to go out or branch out, and just go to the coffee store alone or just put myself out there. For whatever reason, I was scared or nervous or just didn't take the step. But
senior year all over again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, kind of, right.
But now, since I Latip and everything, it really has helped me just, I'm doing a podcast right now.
Yeah.
Like branch out and step out of my comfort zone, and it's like it's good. I'm like, okay, this is good for me. This is
Right.
So I'm very starting to get very much more comfortable and
Awesome.
stuff.
Is there
A few
any
years
place
later.
locally that is on your list that you haven't been? So Sasha in our group, she said, I've lived, because she's from the Princeton area. She's like, I lived in like the Jersey Shore. She lives in Asbury.
Right.
For I think she said a couple years, and she's like, I've never been to Bar A, DJ's, Donovan's. I'm like, these are kind of things.
All our area cultural
Yeah,
institutions.
well, I'm just saying, like, as far as bars for like a younger person,
yeah, totally.
she's never been to Parker House, like
Right.
in Osprey's, any of those places.
Yeah. Oh, I've been to like all those ones you named.
Yeah.
I
So-
don't
so
know
you-
that I've been to DJ's.
You're not missing much.
Yeah.
But she was curious. I'm like, well, you got to go on a Thursday when it's a themed party,
Right.
because that's when the characters come out.
Yeah, totally.
The characters.
Yeah.
I think
I was
I've
walking by
never-
DJs recently, sorry, but like this kind of sets the tone for you too. There's like a huge line outside of people, and there's like a dude on the boardwalk creeping, like flying a drone over the line.
Yeah.
So he's got like the camera like over the ladies, It's like, oh man, this is just so fitting,
Yes, right.
You said it, the bennies.
Yeah.
How do you learn that expression? Was that just?
Did someone yell it at you?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
last week.
Well, I had friends that lived in Jersey all year, and they would be like, "Oh, the bennies are coming."
Yeah.
So
I forget the origin. Like, I was gonna look it up again recently because I saw something about Benny's, and I was like, I always forget. But
The acronym?
yeah,
It's I think it's.
is it
Brooklyn.
Bensonhurst?
It's
I thought it was like part of Bensonhurst or something.
oh, I thought it
that
was
area,
like
but,
Brooklyn, Elizabeth, Newark, New York.
Could be.
yeah.
Right.
I just thought it was
Just
a
people.
nickname like Brooklyn Bennies. I don't know. It's a good nickname. I like it.
It's funny. I was driving yesterday. I was like, I see more New York. No offense. No more New York City license plates than I do Jersey.
Totally. Yeah.
Especially driving on 35 around
Right.
Ocean.
I mean, Oakhurst is a big area where a lot of people have like second homes or summer homes.
Yeah, like Deal.
Yeah.
Deal.
That's
Right.
like,
Yep.
Totally.
Driving Ocean Avenue with
Yeah.
all of them.
So you go back and hang out in Brooklyn much?
Not as much as I should. Like I have my younger brother's there, my older brother, my niece is there. So I try to go once a month, but life happens, and
Right.
so I don't always get there. But I try to go at least once. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
looking up Benny right now.
All right, sweet. Gotta know about that.
Benny.
Have you done anything which might be interesting because places like Asbury have become more destinations for people outside the area, right? Like, do you do any itineraries for people coming to Jersey?
No, I haven't. But it's such a Asbury's hip place. It's like I was walking around the other day. I'm like, this. If I was here in a different, if I was in any other city and walking around, I'd be like, this is one of my favorite cities I've traveled to.
Right.
Just walking around, everyone, on a Saturday night, everyone's out.
Yep.
Cool stores, restaurants, bars. It's so
Right.
happening.
Beach right there.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's
Yeah.
really- it would if I were traveling, it would be one of my like favorite cities.
Right.
Like memorable. I'd be like, that
Oh,
city
definitely.
is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on the beach. I told you, like 16 hours this weekend with my wife and kids.
Right.
You're there at like 8 a.m. I see.
I
your
know,
thing.
yeah, and it's like, and then we go to get lunch after, and
Right.
it's the
I mean,
best.
Yeah.
I've heard of an uptick of like Airbnb in Asbury in general, not even like a beach house, like because it always was popular, obviously, to rent a beach house, but like I feel like areas outside the beach, even in Asbury, are
Just
becoming
above
like
the cool bars or
Right.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
like where Sasha lives and stuff.
yeah, she's got a great spot.
Yeah.
Well, even on the west side, I mean, that's where
Yep.
the potential is going to really show
Right.
up, because with like Uber
Mm-hmm.
or Lyft, well, you could be a mile away from the beach and just get an Uber and spend
Right.
an entire week there and
Exactly.
really take it all in and not
Right.
be in the heart of it.
Yeah, totally.
So I just looked it up really quick. It's Bayonne, Elizabeth, Newark, New York. So it's
Bayonne,
North Jersey.
Newark, New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Look, so you're safe, man.
No,
Like,
no.
all the,
New York.
New
Well,
York.
yeah, New York in general.
It covers all five.
That's right.
All five boroughs.
All five.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
And then this is. I'll send you guys this. This is pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
It's Wikipedia
stuff.
too. You know it's true.
that's cool. So what's your like business plan going forward? Like, where do you find customers now? How's it evolved over time?
Same word of mouth.
Yep.
I was just saying the other day, like, I always say I'm gonna get these random calls from, like, you know, I don't know, random marketing companies. I'm like, all right, no, not now. But I think I'm gonna do a marketing type thing of sorts, just to, you know, promote and get more business.
Right.
But it's really just been, you know, people finding me, or this one refers me, and so it's been great.
That's cool.
It's been really good.
You do honeymoons?
Yeah.
Because it's about to be wedding season.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
Well, it is wedding season, but
It is,
you know,
yeah. No, ton of honeymoons. Yeah. It's
bachelor
great.
parties. I know I reached out to you about my brothers a little bit, get some details for hotels, but
Right.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, yeah, I get a lot of honeymoons. People love going to, like, I want to do more exotic places.
Yeah.
People just go, you know, they're to what they're familiar, what they hear. They go to Europe, Italy, and they'll go to Florence, Venice, Rome.
Right.
But, like, check out Sicily or something like that, you know? Like, so I try to, like, I don't, if you tell me where you want to go, and I'll tell you, but I'll, you know, if someone has a broad thing, they're like, all right, I want to go to Italy, but I'm not dead set on anything, I'll try and recommend cool, you know, different things.
Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Awesome.
Nice. Any quick travel tips people should keep in mind?
Quick
Recommendations?
Know where you're, you know, be prepared. Read up before you go, and try not to stick out like a sore thumb American. You know, don't wear like a baseball cap or something to, like, I don't know, Rome or something.
I thought you were gonna say don't go to Dominican Republic. But
And don't go to the
too.
Dominican Republic. Yeah, definitely avoid that.
I just saw this comedian recently, and his thing was, he's like, I'm getting married and all this stuff, and he's like, you know, I wasn't sure whether I should or not, but he's like, I got my safety plan. I booked myself a Dominican honeymoon, so if things aren't working out, yeah.
Quick alcohol dispenser and
It's pretty classic.
scary stuff. Man.
It was awesome. All right, cool, Paige. Thanks very much
Thank
for
you so
coming
much,
in.
Paige.
Thanks,
We
guys.
appreciate it. Once again, check out Paige online, wanderinggosling.com. Oh, quick question. Why the Gosling?
It's not a good story. It's just I know I need to come up with.
It's a good
better
name.
one.
I like it, though.
I know. I love the name, and
Yeah.
everyone likes it. It's just, honestly, my boyfriend and I, we like gooses. Like, we call each other Gander.
Uh-huh.
Very weird. Like, it's like a nickname we have for each
What
other.
up, Gander?
He's gonna kill me for saying that.
That's right.
So then when I was trying to figure out a name, quick thing. First, it was called Papa's Plan. And then I told my sister, she goes, what are you, like, trying to get someone in your van or something? That's like a creepy name. And I was like, oh, God, you're right. What am I doing? So then we were brainstorming, and he's like, The Wandering Gosling. I'm like, oh, that freaking rocks.
I like it. It's catchy.
Very cool. Yeah, and it definitely captures the spirit, like,
Yeah.
of, you know,
Yeah.
roaming and
Wandering
traveling.
about,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. All right, so check out wanderinggosling.com, on Instagram at wandering_Gosling. Paige, thanks again.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
having me,
much.
guys.
I'm Evan Balmer. Follow me on Instagram at Evan Balmer.
Mike Mercia at mortgageguy_Mike. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.